It's another rainy day. So welcome to Real Life on the Homestead in Ontario and another interior project. Now my spouse grew up in Northern Ontario and his family used to purchase cheese whiz as a, I guess, cheese spread treat, cheese treat. He asked me to pick some up and I said no. Any over-processed food I'm not interested in bringing into the house. So got on YouTube and checked out a ton of recipes, and many of them asked for evaporated milk. And I can my own milk when I find it on sale or I find a really good quality one that I want to have shelf stable. So I have actually taken cream and canned it, and that's what I'm going to be using in this recipe. But you can use evaporated milk. I got some very good quality cheddar, and I'm gonna of course add some salt, and I'm gonna put in a little bit of Dijon mustard for a little bit of that thickening and zing that you would get with a cheese spread. Now, plans of use for this cheese spread is going to be, he puts it in celery. He likes using it as a filler for the ridge and celery. As I'm doing carnivore, I'm gonna be using it as a cheese, I guess, drizzle, like on a, Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I would use this, even just as a little dip for steak. Cheese dip is not a bad thing. So we're gonna try to make this a clean version. And I'm inviting you to come along, and I'll note all the ingredients and quantities in the description box as always. Thanks for joining me, and let's have a great day. Okay, I'm gonna start off with my canned milk. Like I said, you can purchase evaporated milk. I'm gonna measure out 1 cup. And I am using a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. If you're using Dijon mustard, make sure it's clean. No carbs, no sugars, just pure mustard seed and vinegar. That will work like a thickening agent. Mix that in. And of course some salt. I'm gonna use about a teaspoon of salt. I use my pink Himalayan as always. And I'm going to be whisking this together. I'm just bringing it up to temperature. I have cubed up a pound of a good quality cheddar. And we are going to melt this down. That's a pound of cheddar, a cup of evaporated milk, salt, and Dijon mustard. That's it. Very clean. If you are sticking to a true carnivore and you do not want to add the Dijon mustard, leave it out. Absolutely fine. If you want to spice it up with anything like garlic powder or seasonings, you can do that too. I think this would be really good with some chopped jalapenos if you are doing keto carnivore. This is melting down really nicely. And I'm just going to keep stirring to make sure it doesn't stick. And this looks like a really nice cheese sauce right now. So this would go really good as a cheese sauce for a pasta dish. I am still working on a carnivore pasta that I like. I found that making the crepes with eggs and cutting into noodles tasted a little too eggy for me to enjoy it as a pasta. So still trying different versions, and when I come across, not come up because I'm not inventing these, when I come across one that I actually enjoy, I'll be sharing that with you. And then we can make ourselves some mac and cheese that is carnivore. This is melted down really nicely, but it's quite thin. And I do not want to add any thickeners like cornstarch or tapioca, so I am going to just cook it down. It's getting thicker, but not quite there yet. As I'm cooking this down, I'm thinking, I see, that cheese graininess, and I'm thinking, how can we make it silky and smooth? And then I look over at my butter and I thought, you know what? How about we add a tablespoon of butter in here just to make it silky? I like that idea. I've got some cheese sitting on the plate here. Let's not waste that. And knock that in. This butter always finishes everything so nicely. Why not try it here? That actually made it look a lot silkier. I like that. I'm going to add that into the recipe. So a tablespoon of butter. And this looks pretty nice. I think it will thicken in the fridge, so I'm going to call this as done. And I think I am ready to put this into a jar. Yeah, I think I am ready to put this into a jar. And we'll put it in the fridge for a few hours and then just see how it turns out in the end. Well, it's time. Let's crack open our cheese whiz and see what we ended up with. Well, it's definitely spreadable. Let me just taste that. Yep, it tastes like cheddar cheese. I'm not sure what cheese whiz tastes like, but I bet you it's not this good. And let's see how it spreads. Yeah, it spreads nicely. Now, I am going to take this over to Mr. Picky and get his opinion. And I'll come back with the results. Well, I have to say, I wasn't thrilled with the grainy texture. As I was spreading it on the celery for Jamie, I noticed it was quite grainy. And even though the flavor was there, the texture was not. So what I decided to do is take it out of the jar, put it back in the pan, melt it back down, added another cup of the evaporated milk. And once it was melted and smooth, then I poured it into this wide mouth mason jar, added a 1/4 cup of whipping cream. And now with the immersion blender, what I'm going to do is not only smooth out the texture, but I'm also going to aerate it, making it lighter and smoother. Let's see how this works out. Okay, so now taking it out of the fridge, this is perfect. This is exactly the consistency of the store-bought. Trying to get that to focus. So let me just show you how this is going to spread. It's exactly the consistency I was looking for. Look at that. That is exactly perfect spreading. Amazing. This one I'm going to give to Jamie. Let's get his opinion and we'll come back with our results. Well, the results are in. He liked it. He said it tasted more like cheddar. Cheese whiz tastes more like single slices, which is processed cheese. But he did like this better because it tasted more like cheddar. So you don't need to be feeding your family processed foods. There's something you like, see if you can make it yourself. There are so many copycat recipes out there that you could just research and try it. And do small quantities at the beginning to make sure that it is something that you like. But there's always worth the effort to try at least once. And as always, I say thank you for joining me. This was an adventure. So now you go out and live your best life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. We'll talk to you next time.